Since ancient times, people have always looked up to the sky, looking at the infinity of the universe and wondering, is there a God looking down on me? Is there an absolute source that preserves and arranges everything? In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna said to Arjuna, I am the source of all things. From me all things arise. All that exists depends on me. In the Vedas, the sages praised Brahman, the absolute reality, formless, invisible, but present in all things. And in the 20th century, a poor sage from Mumbai, Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj, spoke a simple teaching that penetrated the root of this question. When asked about God, he would often reply with a direct look. The God you are seeking is not outside of you. The knowledge that I am is God, but even that must be transcended. Instead of affirming or denying the existence of God as an external, transcendent entity, Nisargadatta turned the question around, looking at the questioner himself. Who is asking? Who is it that wants to know whether God exists? Here we begin to touch the core of the philosophy of Advaita Vedanta, non-dualism, of which Maharaj was one of the greatest teachers. God as a concept and the bondage of thought. Most of humanity, when they hear the word God, immediately imagine a creator, omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent, our Father, the Lord of the universe. In the Western Bible, that image is materialized. But Nisargadatta Maharaj points out that every concept of God is born of the human mind. The mind is limited by time, space, language, and memory. Therefore, any image we create of God is only a shadow in the imagination, not the truth. He says, the God you think of is only a product of your mind. The real God cannot be thought of, cannot be spoken of, cannot be grasped. The only thing you can be sure of is that you exist. Begin from there. Here we see the similarity with the Upanishads, where the sages speak of Brahman with the formula neti, neti. Not this, not that. That is, any description of the Absolute is false, because language can only contain its limits. I am that, the path to self-realization. In the immortal work, I Am That, a collection of dialogues by Nisargadatta Maharaj, the starting point is always the question of I. He often asked, are you sure you are this body? Are you sure you are this mind? Who is the one who knows that the body and mind are changing every moment? And from that series of questions, he led his disciples to enlightenment. The only thing that is unchanging, not subject to birth and death, is pure awareness. He said, before you ask about God, ask, who am I? If you see clearly that I is just a concept, then the God you are looking for is also just a concept. When all concepts fall away, what remains is reality. And it is beyond the word God, or any name. God and the principle of Sat Chidananda. In Vedanta philosophy, the absolute nature is described by three words: Sat, being, existence; Chit, consciousness, awareness; Ananda, bliss. Nisargadatta does not deny this principle, but he makes it alive, practical. He points out, when you feel I am, that is Saturday. When you are aware of that very existence, that is Chit. When the mind stops wavering, the natural existence shines forth as peace. That is Ananda. Thus, God is not a distant entity, but the very nature of being and awareness within you. The transcendence of God. What is special about Maharaj's teaching is that he does not stop at identifying God with consciousness. He also asserted that one must go beyond the notion of I am. He said, even the feeling of I am is only a temporary state. It appears when you wake up and disappears when you fall asleep. So what knows both the presence and absence of I am? It is that. That is the ultimate reality. This is a very difficult point to grasp, because it requires direct experience and cannot be grasped by reason alone. Nisargadatta pointed out that the ultimate reality is beyond the concept of God, beyond both existence and non-existence. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna also revealed this when he said, I am beyond both existence and non-existence. I am the unchanging self, connecting with practical life. Someone asked Maharaj, if God is just an idea, then what is the point of praying and worshipping? He replied, if you feel the need for an image, a symbol to point to, then use it. But never forget that the symbol is not the reality. Sooner or later, you will have to go beyond the symbol to realize yourself. Here we learn an important lesson. Religion, ritual, and belief are not wrong, but they are only means. They are fingers pointing to the moon, not the moon itself. The practitioner must be alert to avoid confusion. From God outside to God within. Nisargadatta did not deny religious belief, but he warned that belief is only the beginning, not the end. If you believe that God is out there, you are still in the duality of me and you. If you turn inward, recognizing the I am, you enter into unity. But even there, you need to let go so as not to fall into subtle attachment. He said, do not cling to the feeling of I am. It is just like a door. Once you have entered, leave it behind. You are that which is beyond both being and non-being. Once, someone asked, Maharaj, where is God? He replied, when you are in deep sleep, there is no body, no world, no idea of God. But there is something that knows both the presence and absence of the world. That is God. He used the image of a screen and a movie. The movie has many scenes, many characters, many dramas. The absorbed viewer may cry, laugh, be afraid. But the screen is never affected. God, according to Maharaj, is the unchanging screen. Not the characters, not the plot. Absolute reality, beyond God. In many of his talks, Maharaj often emphasized, whatever you can say about God is untrue. Directly perceive that which cannot be said. That is yourself, pure knowing. And even that knowing is not anyone's. It simply exists. This is where disciples often feel, falling into a void. But that very void is the gateway to liberation. In the Katha Upanishad it is said, when all that is unreal falls away, what remains is the self. That is immortality. Nisargadatta lived and breathed this truth. He did not discuss fanciful philosophy, but spoke from the direct experience of enlightenment. Direct practice, I am, and the door to God. Why did Maharaj call, I am God? Nisargadatta Maharaj always emphasized, return to the simple feeling, I am, I am. When his disciples asked, what is God? He replied, your God is this feeling of being. Cling to it, abide in it. Everything else is illusion. Here it is important to understand that I am is not a concept of self, like, I am a man, I am a woman, I am a doctor. I am is the pure awareness of presence, unattached to any attribute. It is like the sunlight shining without touching any object. It is the original consciousness before the mind labels it. Maharaj called it God because it is the source of all experience. Comes before any concept of the world. It is the only thing of which we can be certain, because even doubt is based on the foundation of I am. Maharaj's basic practice. In his talks, Maharaj used to say, "You don't need to do much. Just abide in I am. Don't add anything to it. Just stay with it, and it will reveal its secret to you." This is the minimalist sadhana, spiritual practice, that he gave to his disciples. How to practice: sit still, relax your body and mind. Put aside all thoughts of work, past, future. Just return to the basic feeling, I am. No need to express it in words. Just feel it. Whatever thoughts arise, do not resist them. Do not follow them. Just return to the feeling of I am. Gradually, the practitioner will realize that the feeling of I am is brighter than all thoughts. It is like the blue sky, and thoughts are just like floating clouds. The natural purification of abiding in I am. When we practice like this, profound consequences occur. The mind becomes clear. Delusions gradually disappear because we do not nourish them. The body and mind are healed. The state of abiding helps the energy to self-regulate, bringing balance. The desire to seek gradually decreases. Instead of chasing after knowledge, we begin to taste reality directly. Firm belief. We clearly see that I am is the foundation of everything. No one can take it away. Maharaj once said, "Dwelling in I am sincerely purifies you. It is like a fire that burns away all impurities. You need not do anything else." When the practitioner stops at I am, some people, when they reach the peace of I am, stop, thinking that this is the end. But Maharaj warned, do not stop. Even I am is not the last. It comes with this body and will go away when the body dissolves. There is something that knows the presence and absence of I am. Find that. This is the transcendence of God that Maharaj mentioned. Example, the lamp and the light. Maharaj often used a very concrete example. The feeling of I am is like a lamp being lit. With it, we see the world, ourselves, and even the concept of God. But when the light goes out, when we fall asleep or when the body disintegrates, that light disappears. So what knows both when the light is on and when it is off? That is the ultimate reality. Here we see, I am is the temporary God, like a door. Absolute reality is beyond both light and darkness. A person who practices correctly will experience the following changes. Reduced fear, because he clearly sees that his existence is not dependent on circumstances. Natural peace, no longer caught up in worldly joys and sorrows, because he has found a deeper foundation. Natural compassion, when he sees that everyone shares the same I am nature, compassion arises without forcing it. Freedom from bondage. He is no longer bound by the concept of God must be this, must be that. He directly perceives reality. Death and I am. One of the great questions is, what happens after death? Does God exist? Maharaj explains, when the body disintegrates, the sense of I am also disintegrates. But the knowledge of the arising and passing away of I am is not affected. He says, before this body was born, what was I? After this body disintegrates, I am still that. That is neither born nor destroyed. Know that, and you will see that the real God never disappears. Here we see the distinction clearly. God in the form of I am is temporary. The real God is the immortal reality that is beyond time. From suffering to liberation, the path out of the illusion of God. In this section, we will delve into an important point. Suffering is the sign to recognize the false nature of the ego, and it is through suffering that man is motivated to seek eternal truth. This is also the key foundation of Maharaj. not to avoid suffering, but to see it as a gateway to liberation. 1. Suffering, a warning from existence itself. Maharaj often said, "Suffering arises when you perceive that which is not you and cling to it." If we observe carefully, we will see that most of the suffering in life originates from wrong identification. When we identify ourselves with the body, we fear illness and death. When we identify ourselves with the mind, we are caught up in anxiety, longing, and disappointment. When we identify with our social roles, we live in fear of loss, of rejection. Therefore, suffering is not an enemy, but a reminder. You have forgotten your true nature. Maharaj teaches that if we know how to observe suffering with mindfulness, instead of avoiding it, we will see the truth. This suffering person is just an idea, not the real you. 2. God does not liberate you, only awareness can. Nisargadatta Maharaj denies the popular notion that God will save us from suffering. He affirms, "The God you imagine is just an idea. That idea cannot liberate you. Only when you awaken and return to the source of I am, you will see the true God." Here, God is no longer an external being, but the very ground of awareness that witnesses everything. When we realize this, we will no longer seek salvation from the outside, because what is being seen is liberation itself. 3. The path out of illusion, from I am this body to I am everything. Maharaj points out a very subtle, yet simple path for people to step out of illusion. Realize I am. First, put aside all concepts of body, mind, social role. Just stay in the simplest feeling, I exist. This is the beginning of meditation, the return to the foundation of existence. Observe the temporary I. When we stay in I am, we begin to realize that many thoughts and emotions come and go. The body changes, the mind fluctuates, but I am remains unchanged, like the sky witnessing the passing clouds, seeing the I expand. When the insight is mature, the I is no longer limited to the body or mind. It expands like space, like the entire universe. This is what Maharaj calls God. Not an object, but the infinite ground that encompasses everything. 4. The role of suffering in the process of liberation. Interestingly, according to Maharaj, it is suffering that motivates people to truly want to know I am. He said, "If there were no suffering, who would seek liberation? Who would ask about God? It is pain that makes you start the journey back. Therefore, instead of seeing suffering as an enemy, we need to see it as a teacher. That teacher teaches us that all attachments are meaningless, and only returning to the unchanging nature brings eternal peace." Conclusion. God not outside, but you. We have contemplated the greatest question of humanity. Does God really exist? Under the light of Nisargadatta Maharaj's wisdom, he has taken us from the profound analysis of the nature of I am to the negation of borrowed concepts, and then opened the path of direct experience, where God is no longer a distant idea, but the very source of this existence. If we seek God in books, we only have concepts. If we seek God in rituals, we only have faith. But if we return to the ground of I am, the pure life that has never been named, then God becomes a living experience, beyond language and mind. Nisargadatta Maharaj teaches, "You yourself are the God you seek. It is not the small self limited to the body and thoughts, but the infinite essence that is witnessing everything." So the question, does God really exist, is no longer a philosophical issue to debate, but an experience to live. And when you see, you no longer search, because In your very being, God is always there, eternal, silent, and full of love. The final message: God is not something you believe in or not believe in. God is the fundamental truth that you are living in every moment. Turn back, listen, and experience. Then you will realize you have never been apart from Him.